This is some of the articles about sex and race from Jet magazine of 1954, March 11, 1954 edition of Jet magazine. Now, the first story is about, is from Jamaica. And this say Jamaican sex perversion blame on tourists. European tourists were accused by Jamaicans. Here you go, the story here. That's the article here. Okay. European tourists were accused by Jamaicans of spreading sodomy and homosexuality throughout the famed vacation island. From St. James Parish in Montego Bay, Archdeacon Fox preached against the open practice of sodomy in this town. The clergyman said he had been visited by youth who complained they had been introduced to this vice by unscrupulous visitors. Other Jamaicans and local politicians were afraid to take action against sex perversion because of fear of curtailing the tourist industry. See, that's how perversion, and most of the visitors then was Caucasian or white people, introducing homosexuality, sodomy. This was in 1954. 1954, that's over 60 years ago. Back, I think about almost 66 years ago. And it's happening in Gambia too now, and Kenya. These Caucasian women who think the black body will recharge their youth. That's the middle-aged women, middle-aged and old-aged women, white women going to the Gambia and Kenya, thinking that it will recharge their youth, the black bodies, the male black body. They have this fixation about the magic of the black body. And Caucasian men preying on kids, children in the Gambia. Why that is allowed is beyond me. And it's usual. They have some black people following after the Caucasian people in their perversion. Just as it is in the United States. How come porn is so free? Anybody, children, you go into porn site, they make it available. An evil spirit to people. With children now come addicted to porn. Little girls, 10-year-old, masturbating to porn. It's a sickness that had to be eradicated. I said that's a sickness that had to be eradicated. Now this next story about this, the same magazine, all these articles is the same magazine of Jet 1954. It said, near blonde Negro in same bed in Tennessee. An attractive blonde white woman, a Negro man, and a Negro woman were arrested in Nashville, Tennessee by police who followed. The police followed the couple to a house and surprised them in bed. Surprised the man and the woman in bed. The Negro woman was the housekeeper, I guess. The man, Charles F. Kenneth, 27, and Donna and Wiseman, 18, sound like a Jewish woman, were charged with disorderly and offensive conduct, resisting arrest, vagrancy, and loitering. Mrs. Willie Colin, 36, owner of the house, was charged with the disorderly conduct and operating a disorderly house. They followed the black man and the white young woman and surprised them in bed. Okay, that's that story. And this is full of a lot of these stories in this month, Jet, this week's Jet. And this one is about this story. A white Texan get 25 years for raping Negro girl 12. A 35-year-old white man, a former student of the ministry, was sentenced to 25 years in prison for raping a 12-year-old Dallas, Texas Negro girl. The man, Walter H. Keener, tried to commit suicide in his cell. He was a minister, a white minister. Okay, this other story, the story I told you about the blonde. Where they followed the blonde, the white young woman and a Negro man to their bed. Now, what's it? They see them together, so they're following them. There's a whole lot of stories in this. Okay, this story about Billy Daniels, who divorced his white wife. She was a wealthy woman. Miss Martha Braun Daniels, wealthy white socialite, who recently won a divorce from singer Billy Daniels. Billy Daniels he's a Negro, but he was, to me, close to being white. Seemed to be mixed, I don't know. Said, she said that the white woman broke up my marriage to Billy in an article in Confidential magazine. Ms. Braun said she wanted to make it plain from the start that the color of his skin had nothing to do with our troubles. Added the society girl. The feeling we had for each other was crumpled to death by other women, white women. They chased him individually and in squads, coldly and with the brazen candor of nymphomaniac. He was a white woman and she claimed other white women chasing after Billy Daniels. Uh, and that's this story about the white woman broke up her marriage. And this other story here, okay, they say they nabbed white girl 13 and 6 Negro man in vice ring. Wow, goodness, all these young white girls. And say a 13-year-old white girl and 6 Negro men accused of setting the girl up as a prostitute in a downtown Los Angeles hotel were arrested when police spotted the girl in a car with 2 of the men. The girl had run away from her Compton, California home. The 6 men were arrested and jailed on charge of statutory rape and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. There are Ruby Gartha, 25, Jimmy Brooks, 30, George Johnson Jr., 23, Alvin Charles, 22, Irvin E.O., 28, and Randolph Dickens, 28. This 13-year-old girl and these Negro men. Oh, what a nasty man, yeah? How about that story? Oh my goodness. And now on the same page, and this time in Virginia, said 5 Virginia Negroes jailed for interracial sex orgies. 5 Danville, Virginia Negroes charged with sponsoring parties where white soldiers dance and drink with nude teenage white girls were fined $250 each and given 1 to 6 months in jail. Uh, the Negro, what about the soldiers, the white soldiers? What's they charged? That's that story right there again. But what about the soldiers? What they charged? And this book was full of that. Full, I don't know. It's full of the, and most of them was young girls. Okay, I think there was another story, but I'm not going to any more of it. I'm not going to any more. And that week was wow. That was crazy. Okay, this is the last thing I'll talk about. It's about this book. The book of the week was called "The Prospect Before Us," and I'm gonna make it short to say that the prospects before us, and that's a book about interracial sex, where this a man who owned a house, uh, were having sex with this young girl. It was a novel really with this young girl, and he moved her he rented a place to her, and when he rented the place, all the other white neighbors moved away. He moved away from the hotel, Negro, but he ended up having sex with the young woman, and that's that. That's about it. So those was a lot of stories in that Ebony Jet magazine. Now I'm continuing with this miscegenation. Miscegenation. I got this in. Oh yeah, okay. Here you go. Miscegenation in America by LeRon Bennett, and this was from Ebony magazine from 1962. Ebony magazine, 1962. And miscegenation in America. Now this is magazine falling apart. But I'm just going to read this short paragraph. The aristocrats did not always obey the rules they made. Benjamin Franklin, you know, heard of Benjamin Franklin, it is said, was quite open in his relationships with black women. Carter Woodson, the careful historian, say Franklin seems to have made no secret of his association with Negro women. But is that part of your history lesson concerning Benjamin Franklin? Hmm? Is that part of your history lesson? Benjamin Franklin said, made no secret about his association with Negro women. Okay? And it wasn't just about flying a kite. But they leave that out of the history books. They leave a whole lot out of the history books. They perverted so.